All right, so this breakdown is for the week of June 29th. Remember, the market's going to be closed on Friday. We have July 4th, Saturday. So just, remember Independence Day, market closed, manage positions accordingly. We'll take a look at earnings. We'll take a look at the economic calendar. I don't see anything that I'll be focusing on personally. I guess you could take a look at Nike, but not really within the themes right now. AVAB's a little interesting. That one's on my growth list. Drone company. We'll see how that one acts. Economic calendar. Let's see. Jolt's Tuesday. Not bad. ADP. No. Non-farm. Okay. Thursday's the biggest day, I guess. Non-farm and initial jobless claim is pretty big. Unemployment rate pretty big. But yeah, nothing too crazy. We'll keep an eye out for Thursday. That'll be the day before the market closes too. So Thursday might just be a chill day, to be honest. But nothing too crazy. Before we get into the charts, there was that announcement with Samsung, SK Hynix on the that whole AI infrastructure investment. I forget the exact amount. It was like 500-600 billion plus though. So they kind of gave like little clues as to where the money's going. So that's why, ASML, LRCX, AMAT, CLAC, those big ASIC, semi creators, you want to keep an eye on those because that might be where the money flows. But that news should come out Monday. I don't know when. I don't know if it's Monday, Asian time. I have no idea. So we'll keep an eye out for that. But if they say any direct, investments in the companies, could be big. But they did say these investments could span like a decade long. So don't think it's just like a, immediate, annual capex ad for whatever that amount is. But the market might look at it like that. So just something to note. Yeah, before we jump into everything else, let's take a look at SPY, QQQ, and IWM. All right. So, sorry, just sharing my screen here. There you go. Okay. All right. So, little issue going into this week. You really kind of have to, obviously my whole tactical perspective is going to be, where are we compared to the 9, 21, and 50? And we closed below it. Simple as that. We had a really good volume surge off the low. We closed at a decent spot, but again, under the 9, under the 21, under the 50. You have to remain risk off. It doesn't mean just don't participate at all, but you have to find the leaders. So stuff that's maybe over the 9 and 21 still. And you have to see where SPY is relative to these key levels. If you're looking to take MU longs and SPY is, 50 cents away from this weekly resistance level, if it gets smacked down, you have to understand why. So just use them for comparison if you are going to take those trades. And usually when it is under the moving average, risk off is just meaning quicker trades as well. Even if something's at all-time highs, you need the indexes performing, you need the rest of the market performing. So take quicker trades, size down. It doesn't mean you don't have to participate in anything this week though. So SPY under the 9, under the 21, under the 50. QQQ off the 50. Okay, so ideally you want to see if we could get back above these weekly ranges, if SPY can get back near that 9 or 21 MA, but if QQQ can get over these weekly resistance areas and reclaim the 9 this week, that would be awesome. We haven't seen increased volume after that first drawdown, which is good, but we need to see, that first surge with real volume that kind of holds. So still risk off. Wow, IWM looks really good. Hold up, let me mark these up real quick. Get that monthly, we'll get that close. Let's go down to the weekly. Let's get some of these gaps. All right, and that's a weekly close as well. I don't need that one. Okay, all right. Let's go back here, see what we're looking at. Yeah, good holds of the 9, good holds of the weekly. Clear leaders. So this is all small caps, and you had really good volume on that push Friday. Huh. IWM something to note, small cap something to note. Maybe money flows into there, and you're kind of seeing that. Mag 7s have been weaker. A lot of even the higher market cap semiconductors have been pushing. Let's just see. Still risk off though, All right, so we do have some 10-300 setups though. So let's take a look. Remember 10-300 stock gaps up 10% or more in a day, and it has a 300% increase in relative volume compared to the last trailing 20 days. So this was its 10-300 day. We have the base, we have information here. It's wicked 1, 2, 3, 4 times over that 1870. If we get that close, or even intraday, if it gets over and then back tests and holds, that's going to be your go, your entry point right there. So I'll wait for it to get over, but the setup's there. Gave you the gap up, really dead volume. Sellers are nowhere to be found. Buyers are accumulating. It looks good. MXL is unfortunate. I missed, you had the 10-300 back test right here. This was the 10-300 day. Gave you a really nice base. Gave you the tag perfectly. Just unfortunately missed it. But, we still have a lot more information here. Number one, it could have smacked off the 9 MA, came right back down. Now we're over the 9, we're over the 21, and we have that really good push in volume on Friday. So I'm eyeing this one. I'll take probably starters 99.83 if it gets over. If we get that back test at 92.93 in the morning, that's probably best risk to reward entry. You can use the 9 MA as like a pivot for your stops, or even if it fails at 92, you could probably exit and wait for that proper break again. But give yourself a chance to take it 2 or 3 times, once or twice maybe, if it doesn't work out the first time. But this gets over 100. You got 106 quickly, and over that, you have a base from, you're looking at 2, almost approaching 3 months. So 2 months, I'd say. Really tight base, good low volume the entire way, and now you're starting to get that pop in buyers. So keep an eye on it. This was a great entry, but more information there. QURE, this one's kind of similar to CLPT. Do we get that close over that 49.70? Do we get a intraday back test for us to enter off of? But you have 54 as your first target off that weekly resistance. So decent play if it gets over. And then 48.20 could be ultimate stops, but you could use 9 MA depending on how much you sized. If you go month, 2-month contract, you don't really got to worry about that. If you're going weeklies, you might want to have a quicker pivot, but I feel like this could be played a couple different ways. So just know your risk. All right, some normal longs. So ASML is at like a really good point. I don't know when this news comes out again, but ASML over, what is that? 1802. Number one, you have a really good range back up to 1860 weekly. I'd like it over the 9. But off the 21 is going to be good enough for me. You had that last test, the 21, that absolutely launched it. And the 9 MA, you figure, is still 40 points away, 35 points away. So you had the increase in volume. You had a good decrease in volume while the stock really didn't do anything. So, volume contracted a little bit. You might have news coming out on it. It's got a couple things pointing to, the risk to reward leaning higher. So I'm just going to look at 1803. Gets over there Monday. I'll look to take the break, maybe the back test, depending how it sets up. But I'm watching. LRCX, similar theme. I don't think the setup's as clear as ASML, but I mean that 410 is going to be nice if it gives you a base here. Maybe I'll do this. Like LRCX over 389, you figure you have 11 points, 12 points. It looks good, but I'm just going to do this. Move that to watch. AMAT similar. Stuff I want to focus on, but there's no real setup. Lily, the only other, I unfortunately sold my roll Friday. So Monday I'll look. The only really addition I have is if it bounces off that 1183 area. So we'll see. But volume contracted, volume popped Friday. Does it give you a back test? I don't know, but the setup's there, so we'll see. But looks great. All right, Microsoft. Yeah, really big volume on Microsoft. I don't know if that's just from the Michael Burry vibe buy, but like, you got to you still just have to wait for a little more information after a day like that, but you also can't take it off your watch list. Volume doesn't lie. So let's see if it can get that 375.39 you figure 1, 2, 3, 4 times wicked off of. So if it can get over it again, that same second attempt breakout or breakout retest, that's what you want to look for. You want to wait for that close or at least kind of interaction to let you know, like, okay, maybe we don't reject from here this time. Maybe sellers are gone. But it's there. It's there. If it does it tomorrow, it's a little harder to take, for like a day trade. I would ideally like maybe a day or two consolidation, or even just wait till it closes over on Monday, and then maybe you get the back test on Tuesday. But tons of ways to play it. Just know that line in the sand is going to be 375.39. For anything actionable. ALAB's interesting. You figure it's just rode the 21 this whole time. So I'm just trying to think. 10,300 volumes here. Yeah, I mean, ALAB, what is this? 391. You got 30 points if it gets over this 391 to 421. That'd be reclaim of the 9. Decent volume. That'd be a reclaim of a 10,300 level too. So that liquidity level, this isn't just a weekly. It's a little stronger, but this is also a harder one. Let's see. Sorry, this weekly's not even 10,300. Average. Range is good. Just understand that line in the sand as well. Similar to Microsoft. VST I'm probably watching, but I mean, the line in the sand's pretty clear here. So 169, you get that close over. A lot of these plays have that similar rhythm. You want to see if it, 1, closes over, if it looks average, or 2, that intraday pushover, back test on it, and then you get your risk to reward entry. So we'll keep, I'm gonna do this. We'll keep VST in the watch. MRVL as well. So MRVL doesn't have 10,300 level until 252. But the problem is with that, under the 9, under the 21, little shaky. So this one probably gets moved to watch as well. I really like this one back over that 292 though. If it can reclaim the 21, reclaim the 9 relatively soon too. If this has any bar lower, it might look a little, it's going to need more time. But any pivot Monday, Tuesday early, this is still going to look fantastic. So I'll keep an eye on that. Yeah, let's just run through these watches quick. VST, wait for 169. LRCX, maybe wait for that 389. AMAT, just watch. Just watch. Dave is absurdly bullish. So this is one with really good fundamentals. I don't have a position in it. I might want to add to it in like my Roth IRA or something. Because I don't really know how good it is to trade, but fundamentals are there. Amazing structure there. Developed this base for what? A year. So, and what were the EPS reports? Let's see. 3, 4, 3, 4. Relatively average, but that's still a ridiculous comparison to last year. Yeah, this thing's doing awesome. So just something to watch. I don't really know how to play it, but SEZL. SEZL's another one. This one's been on my watch list for so long, but it's coming all the way back. And you have, wow, you have phenomenal earnings on this one. $1. Okay, 70, 71, 121, 143. Really good acceleration, but really good liquidity. Let me look at this on a weekly. I mean, that earnings trend is awesome. You want to see the volume kind of chill here. I would love to see this hit 181 and stop. You get that cup and handle going. That'd be really good. Let's see if we can actually draw it quick. Oh, get the magnet off. Just anything right here would be awesome. Let's wait for that. Wait for that. You know, even a test of here, keep it tight, but either of these levels would be good. But we'll see. All right, I would love something like that though. I'm gonna keep an eye on it. FTAI clear pivot, you know, that monthly. I'm just waiting for it. Even if it maybe, you're telling me this gets over 272 on Monday, also, like a tight candle here. This also is going to look really good. So maybe I enter. But that 289, you know, if it chops around a little bit, that 289 is going to be a clearer level. You know, you have 20 points over it too. So we'll watch. But looks good. VRT, what did I have? VRT was actually, you got mean reversion setting up. Let me get this magnet back up. So if you mark that low range and mark the high, you get that 0.79 right around that 295 weekly. So if that, you know, if that test comes early next week, Monday, Tuesday, I'm gonna probably try, you know, lighter position, maybe take the next level. What do we have here? 307, so maybe I take like 310s weeklies, 305s weeklies, and just try to get that aggressive bounce. You know, you could even take it off 295, and if it fails at 293, get out. But there's a few ways to play it. You know, you could take a lotto, doesn't matter. But that 0.79 retracements, you know, it's not only there, but you have a weekly resistance. Sorry, weekly support. You know, with it as well. So we'll keep an eye on it. And then MU and SNDK, there's no real setups, but I'm going to watch them probably forever until they break, at least until they break the 21. You know, 1-2 test off the 21. I got this little channel going, respected pretty nice. So, you know, if you're telling me MU can start getting, what is this, 1090, 1050 is a little weaker, but even if it tests this range, this little weekly range in here, I'm going to look to add longs again. You know, it's not ideal when you see this, you know, 4 increasing volume bars. I don't know if that was, you know, month end or sorry, quarterly rebalancing, anything like that. So, you know, that always comes into play. I don't know if you saw that on SNDK too. SNDK Friday's close was absurd. That dropped like 50 points. So you got to assume that has some correlation with the volume. But MU near that 1080 is going to be a good bounce area. Other than that, above, you know, if it doesn't give me a clear entry, above that 1206 or sorry, 1196 is also going to be good. Should get 60 points there. But yeah, we got level up, level down. All trades are bullish on it though for sure. SNDK not as clear. Just gonna watch that. But value check. These I just want to research a little more. I'm gonna look at their earnings a little more. I want to see how they're doing, what's going on, because the valuations, they're getting good again. I'll say, you know, Uber's running a trailing PE, you know, forward PE of like 12 or something. You know, all of these were well under 20. So yeah, I'll take a look at them. This is probably one of my favorites. But I want to see, you know, where their earnings are going. I want to do a little deeper dive on their news because it's, you know, it's not just, this can't tell the whole story. So yeah, I'll look at those, but no setups on those. That's really more, not even options. That's more like long-term ads, you know, maybe once in a blue moon, I'll see something that I like and I'll add it to my main or my Roth IRA. But, you know, that's more just for me to see what's moving, see where value's at, and, you know, stay in tune with the market. But those are all the plays. So these are the main focuses. Again, CLPT, MXL, QURE. ASML was probably the best setup on that list too. You know, Lily's going to need time. Microsoft, you got to wait. ALAB, you got to wait. Marvel, you got to wait a little bit. But those setups could happen, you know, still Monday or Tuesday. The rest of these, you know, can still happen Monday or Tuesday. Some of these are longer, like, you know, SEZL, FTAI, those are going to take a little more time. You know, MU, SNDK might take more time. VRT, maybe a little more time. But yeah, VST could happen immediately, LRCX immediately, but figure out what works for your plan, and then you go from there. But yeah, let's have a week.